Hello everybody, this is Michael Hart. Welcome once again to a driving vlog, whatever it's called, driving video. So today I'm just going to talk about the law of polarity. Law of polarity states that everything has its equal opposite. Up always has down. If there's up, there's always down. If there's, dark, there's always light. If there's good, there's always bad. There's good and bad. Everything exists in polarities and on continuums. And there's no way to distinguish the end point and start point. So, good and bad is on a continuum. Everything's on a continuum, really. Just like in typology, everything's relative. So, ever since I was a kid, for whatever reason, I kind of have always just had this sense that everything balances out. Even from like time I was like 7, 8 years old, I just kind of always had this feeling. It's hard to explain, but that's one thing I never agreed with when they say INTPs aren't good at reading people or whatever. I am really good at reading people, and I don't know. I used to think I was psychic when I was a kid. Because I can like sense people's intentions, if they're lying. I'm always like the only person who can tell if someone's about ready to explode into a violent. I'm the only person like, hey, maybe we should stop pushing him a little bit, sensing a little bit of disturbance there, and like everyone else, no one else sees it except for me. I'm the only one. So anyway, where was I going with that? I always kind of sense that there's balance. Everything balances out. For all the problems women have, it balances out. Men have problems too. A lot of, feminists don't want to admit that, but it's true. Men have their problems too. And to deny it, you're a liar if you're denying it. It's just, or you're just, been brainwashed by the media, which, most people are nowadays anyway. But yeah. Polarity. Everything has its balance. That's why I don't understand black and white thinking. Like a lot of kids nowadays are saying this thing, okay boomer. It's just kind of dismissing anyone who's a baby boomer, anyone who's from the generation from like the 40s to the 60s or whatever it is. So what, literally everything they believe is wrong, is bad, it's evil. I could admit some things maybe needed to change. Obviously racism needed to change. Real racism needed to change. The feminist movement definitely had some good intentions, and but everything they believe, there's no such thing. By the law of polarity and other laws, there's no such thing as a generation that's 100% bad or 100% wrong. People have such black and white thinking. Okay boomers, just dismissing everything, literally everything you have to say just because you're a baby boomer. Sorry, but that's really fucked up. That's prejudiced. It's really messed up, not only because it's prejudiced, but because it's false. It's simply untrue. The baby boomers, because of the law of polarity, are going to have some strengths that you don't have, millennials and Zers, Zoomers, whatever you're called. Like, they were way harder workers, that's proven. And, you don't need studies. Like I've said before, you don't need studies to know common sense. But it's also proven in studies. Duh. When there's less automation and all the conveniences we have nowadays, you have to be a harder worker to survive. So yes, they were much harder workers. They appreciated what they had more because they had to work for it. They didn't have such immediate gratification all the time. Nowadays we just have, kids nowadays don't even want to work because they don't have to, because they're given free money from the government. There's signs all around this town. No one can find anyone to work all over the place, especially like fast food joints. They're having a really hard time finding people to hire. No one wants to work. Free money. Yay. Free money. Free stuff. But when you don't work for things, you end up with depression and mental illness. And it's just a fact. Rich people, trust fund kids who didn't work for their money end up miserable. It's just the way it is. They end up blowing their heads out. because you didn't earn it. It's just you are empty. You're empty inside. You got no fulfillment. Money doesn't bring happiness. Anyway, the things of this earth will not satisfy, guys. The things of this earth will not satisfy. I'll say it a third time. The things of this world will not satisfy. What does a woman who has 100 shoes want? More shoes. What does a guy who has 10 different, McLarens and, Ferraris want? Faster car. What does a guy with a big house want? Bigger house. You will never be satisfied. It's just the way it is. It's one of the reasons why we're still alive. It helped us with survival, to always be wanting more and to be progressing. But the things of this earth will not satisfy. The only way you can find fulfillment is through spiritual fulfillment. You may think, hey, when I'm rich and famous and I can sleep with any girl I want, I'll be happy. Guess what? Even sex becomes unfulfilling because you have so much of it. You're like, wow, that's boring. Eventually, rich and famous people oftentimes become miserable because of it, because they end up not being able to go anywhere in peace because they're so famous, and realizing that their lifestyle doesn't bring them happiness at all. They're miserable because that's not what the things of this earth will not satisfy. Anyway, so law of polarity, everything evens out, somehow became a rant about how things of this earth don't satisfy. It's all relevant, guys. It's all true. It's all good, useful information. All things that are annoying to me, so. Anyway, I just don't get the whole black and white thinking. Going back a little bit to the law of polarity. I don't get it. I don't understand people who just judge. I don't understand that at all. Just painting a whole generation with a brush like everything you thought was wrong was stupid. Everyone who lived back in the 1800s was a racist, was a bad person, was this and that. It doesn't work that way. It is so stupid. Anyway, everything evens out. Feminists out there, they get upset saying, oh, women definitely have it harder. Men don't have any problems at all. That's another thing. A lot of feminists act like men have no problems because by the very nature of it, if you paint an entire group of people as the oppressors and the other group of people as the victims, by the very nature of it, the oppressors can't be victims because they're oppressors. They can't have any problems by the very nature of it. So as soon as you talk about male problems, real male problems, some of these people kind of just scoff at you or laugh at you like, oh, well, they're the bad guys. How could they have any problems? Men are the bad ones. If you think it's okay, if you're a school teacher or something, you think it's okay to teach a bunch of little boys that they're would-be rapists just because of their gender, you're a piece of shit. Sorry, there's no other way around it. That makes you a piece of shit. I think we should be we should be raising men who are strong men, taught to take care of women, look after them, and treat them well. I think that's the best deterrent to men not treating women well, is to teach men to treat women well, and not tell them that they're just doomed to be chauvinistic pieces of shit, basically, because of their gender. Basically, that if anyone knows anything about psychology, that will make it more likely that they will end up doing bad things because you're telling them that's who they are. Duh. It's fascinating to me, in a generation that supposedly is more open to things like psychology and spirituality. They're so ignorant about this kind of stuff. Anyway, rant, guys. Law of polarity, everything evens out. So, Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts.